Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now. Available 2018. The album, Dad AF. Rock on, girl, just woman. Alright, let's get right into this video. Today, let's not beat around the bush. This is a Q&A. I put out a question on my Instagram story. I don't know, I think it was like 2 days ago. Late at night, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a Q&A. If you have a question, leave it over there. So I literally went through last night, and I just like, you can get like 8 questions on like a screenshot. I just screenshot. And then after I was done with all of that, I saw that like, because it comes off, it also comes up in my feed. I saw like 3 questions. I was like, these are really good questions because I was getting a lot of repeats. Like, how did you start YouTube? Or what would you say to somebody that wanted to start YouTube and all this kind of stuff? So I'm gonna just go in and I'm gonna answer those. I have to tell you what's funny. So, the life of a drama channel. I have all these receipts, right? So here's my receipt from last night. It is a screenshot of Chaco, the macho chihuahua. And I used to watch all of Chaco. If you've never seen Chaco's videos, they're hilarious. It's like this little chihuahua, and they're like minute clips. And then they like go in and they talk about like his dad's a fraidy cat and all this kind of stuff. It's hilarious. But I like went in there last night and I was watching them and I was like, they haven't posted a video in 5 months. And I was like, what happened to Chaco? I'm really concerned and I miss Chaco. So anyway, I had that screenshot to remember to look into that. Okay, but I wanted to go in here and answer some of the last questions that I got first. And then I will go back and answer some of the first questions that I got first. Okay, whew. All right, let's see. I got lots of questions like, I love you so, or just responses like, I love you so much, or how are you, the first one is, how are you so amazing, and all this kind of stuff, and I just want to say thank you so much for those messages. They really mean the world to me. I don't really know how to respond to questions like that, but, okay. Have you ever had a medium stop you on the street? I have, and I've actually talked about this in my vlog. When I was a kid, this used to happen all the time to like my mom. People would stop her on the street and say stuff to her, and she always kind of thought it was like blasphemy. She didn't like it. And I've had it happen to me on the in my adult life as well, but it's been quite some time since it's happened. Let's see. In which Hogwarts house are you? Okay, so now if you don't know, which you don't know, is a lot. I recently started reading the Harry Potter books. I know. I have never read them before. I've never seen the movies before, and I'm on BookTube. I have a BookTube channel. So you would think that I had read the Harry Potter books, and I haven't. So I started in July, and I'm reading a book a month. So July was Sorcerer's Stone. August was Chamber of Secrets. I just finished that movie last night. Loved it. And now this month I'm reading Prisoner of Azkaban. So I did my house sorting like 2 months ago. Oh, I actually read Sorcerer's Stone last year and I reread it again this year. And so I think I finished in January reading all the books. The first time I got sorted into Hufflepuff. And the second time I got sorted into Gryffindor. So I don't know, I'm somewhere in between there. Somebody was just telling me about there's a new like Time magazine sorting. Have you guys heard about this? So I'm gonna actually do that. I think I'm gonna do like 3 different sortings and do a BookTube video on there and just kind of like find out who I really am. Let's see. Do you plan on coming to LA anytime soon? Meet and greet. I do. I'm actually looking into that as we speak. Okay, so let's get into these last questions, or the first questions that were asked. There's just like, I literally got like, I mean, it's just like, look, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I mean, it's just tons of questions that I got. So I'm going to try to do the best I can to go in here. I hadn't done a Q&A since we were in Connecticut. And so I was like, okay, I want to do a Q&A now, and just kind of, that was actually like a drama Q&A, so this is completely different. Have you ever seen True Blood? And the answer to that is yes. I actually read the Sookie Stackhouse novels, and we also interviewed, my husband and I, because we owned a website, and he still runs it. I don't have anything to do with it anymore. But we interviewed Charlene Harris, who wrote the Sookie Stackhouse novels that then became the True Blood series on HBO. I loved the series. I absolutely loved the series, and I watched the whole thing. It got a little boring towards the end, but if you could interview any celebrity, dead or living, who would it be and why? without a doubt, hands down, Harper Lee, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. It's my favorite book of life. I just kind of like her whole attitude of life and her outlook on things. And if you've read a lot about Harper Lee, she just was very introspective and very wise, but in kind of like a very layman's term kind of wise. Like, it wasn't like she was like, you know, out there. It just, I don't know. She was a very cool person, and I would have loved to have just not even interview her, but maybe even just have sat down with her for, you know, 5 minutes. What are some of your dreams you would like to fulfill? Bucket list. I mean, I have lots. I have tons, you know. I mean, are we dreaming big? Like, there's a lot of places in the world that I would like to go still. You know, at the top of my list being like, you know, Fiji or Bora Bora. Anywhere where there's an ocean or a beach, I'm kind of like obsessed with. I grew up reading a lot of like pirate ship kind of books, and so that whole area is very interesting to me. So anyway, other than traveling, you know, I mean, have a book on the bestseller list, New York Times bestseller list, maybe have a small cameo in a movie, you know, at some point. I mean, I don't know. Like, the older you get, your bucket list gets pretty small. A couple years ago, I made a list up of like, you know, things that I really wanted to like try once in my life. And I'm not lying when I say this, okay? The top of my list was blueberry and chocolate chip pancakes because I had never had them. And my friend Melissa took me to the original house of pancakes, and we tried like 3 different kinds of pancakes, and so that bucket list is fulfilled, and I think I'll just stick to waffles is my response to that. What are you dressing up as for Halloween? Well, I do dress up every year for Halloween. A lot of people ask this question because they know that Halloween is hands down my all-time favorite holiday of life, and it's interesting because I talked a lot about this on my vlog last night. It's time for Peter to start trying some new things. And so I'm actually, you know, like I had talked about doing this one channel, my Peterisms channel, and that's going to still happen. At some point I'm backburnering that. Glamour shots. But I'm also going to be starting a review channel soon, like in the next couple months, and I'm working on that right now. But the other thing people have been asking me to do is do a podcast. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make that work. It's going to only be it's going to be like an hour, 1 day a week. It's not going to be like every day. I can't do all that. But I'm thinking about starting it and having the first one be on Halloween because my friends and I, like, Halloween is huge for us. And especially my friend Melissa, like, she goes to all of the, like, the horror hound festivals, and she's got, you know, original movie posters signed. She's literally met every cast member of every horror, I always say the word wrong, movie in the world. So I'm thinking about, like, sitting down with her and having her be my first, like, podcast and that going forward. I don't really know what I want to dress up for on Halloween. I was actually, you know, like, I wanted to get a, like, Don't Mess with Texas t-shirt and a visor, and I wanted to, like, that day on my video, maybe, like, be Christine Seidelko, because I love Christine so much. But I think maybe, like, I don't want to do something that's, like, YouTube-related for Halloween. I don't know. There's a lot of things out there right now that I could do for Halloween. So I kind of, like, my husband plans it out, like, months in advance, but I really don't. Like, I really kind of think about it, like, the day or two before. But I do love going to, like, all the costume stores. They're already up in Indianapolis. I don't know where you live, but here, like, what is it, Spirit Halloween and all those stores, they've already started opening. Why are you so hot? No, thank you. Let's see. When can we go shopping and have a dinner? Indie bloggers unite. Who is this? Oh, hey, Evan. How are you? Tips for growing my YouTube channel. Well, I don't know. Like, do something that you love. Just do something that you love on YouTube. You know, and like when you're doing something that maybe isn't as interesting to you as it was before, like maybe switch something up. You know, I was talking about this on my vlog last night. The reason why I have 4 channels, people are like, oh my God, you have 4 channels. The reason why I have 4 channels is because I get very bored just doing one thing. And then I want to start something different. So, you know, if you're doing something, just do it because, you know, like you're having fun doing it. And then if that becomes not fun anymore, switch it up, do something different. I mean, that's not just about YouTube, that's about life, right? You know? So, okay. The next question is, would you ever cage dive with sharks? I would never in a million years cage dive with sharks, okay? You couldn't pay me enough money to do that. Seriously, like, you could not pay me enough money to cage dive. I don't even care how small the sharks were, okay? I'm like terrified of sharks. Like, it's my biggest thing. But I also am constantly watching like shark movies and shark attack videos on YouTube. Like, I can't get enough of it. Okay, so a lot of these questions are like consistent. Favorite Halloween candy? Oh, that's good. What is that, 1 grand? The 100,000 grand or 1,000 grand? That's probably my favorite, those little ones. Let's see. Do you ever struggle with insecurities about weight or beauty? Are you kidding me? Do you watch my vlogs? I talk about it all the time. Yeah, absolutely, you know? I mean, I think all of us struggle with insecurities in life, you know? I try not to let it be blockage to the things that I want to do with my life, you know? Why did you decide to become a vegetarian? Okay, this is a question I get a lot. I have been a vegetarian since a year ago, August 1st. I have been a vegetarian before at periods in my life. When I started this last time, I really just wanted to see if I could do it for 30 days. It really kind of started as this like health thing. And then as time went on, I think it was actually Jenna Marbles, who I had seen in a video, and I love Jenna Marbles. She's like somebody that I look up to on YouTube. And I think it was her that said something like, the change for her was that she couldn't eat her pets. And it was like, I don't know if you ever just hear like one thing and it like completely changes your opinion of how you look at the world. But like, after I heard that, I was like, okay, this is different for me. Like, and it just changed for me at that point. I'm not a healthy vegetarian. I eat like shit. I eat a lot of starches and all that kind of stuff. So if you watch my vlog, you know that. So yeah, but that's why I originally was, just to see. I had done it for 30 days. Well, before I had done it for like 3 years, but I wanted to see if I could do it for 30 days again. I wanted to see if I could just do it for health reasons. And then I started it, and then it just kind of kept on continuing, and it got easier over time. I will say this, like the first time that I was a vegetarian years ago, it was very difficult. This time it really hasn't been that hard for me. I mean, I really haven't struggled that much with it. Okay, thoughts on the Haunted Museum in Vegas? Would you go? We almost did. We actually, this is like Zach Bagans, I think is his name. Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. We actually talked about going, and we just couldn't fit it into everything we wanted to do. Okay, everybody's asking me, what is some advice that you would give starting a new YouTube channel? I think like if you want to start a YouTube channel, and you guys know, like, and probably like one of the common themes of messages that I receive from people is, thank you so much for like saying, just start a channel, okay? Just start a channel. Speaking about my weight, you know, I started on BookTube, and my first video, I think, was May 11th of 2016. And when I started it, you know, like, I can remember wanting to start it, and I thought, well, I've got to lose this amount of weight, or I'm not going to get on camera until I lose this amount of weight. And then that day, like, I really didn't think I was going to start it that day. Like, I really didn't. And I kind of thought about it the night before, and I had said something to, like, you know, my best friend and my husband, and they were like, okay, like, you're an ideas guy. You're always coming up with ideas. And you know, I was sitting there, and I was like, the next day I woke up, and I was like, you're never going to be happy enough to be on camera weight-wise, so just start it. And I did, and I sat right over there, and I filmed my very first video, and it's cringeworthy, and I just talked about what I was going to do on BookTube, and just start it, you know, and you get more comfortable with the camera over time, and it just feels like you're talking to your friend, or you're talking to, I don't know, your dog, or whoever. It doesn't... over time, it becomes more comfortable. So that would be my advice. Like, if you want to start a YouTube channel, just start it. It doesn't really matter what you want to do, you know? If you want to tell stories, or if you want to cook, or, you know, if you want to do beauty, do whatever, you know? Just do whatever you want to do. Listen, life is too short, okay? Don't think too much on it. Okay, so there's tons of questions about all of this. You know, what advice would you give a new YouTuber? Why did you decide to create a drama channel? Well, okay, so the drama channel thing just kind of happened. I started September 1st of 2016, and it was at the time that Jeffree Star and Kat Von D were kind of going through it, and I had seen this video come up that Kat Von D put out, and then Jeffree Star right underneath it was like a recommended video, and I literally fell down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And at that time, it was like Sanders Kennedy and Karina Kaboom had made like videos about them, and so like I started making videos about commentary, and then over time, and if you go back and you watch my first videos, I'm like, I'm not a drama channel, I'm not, and then I'm like, one day I'm just like, okay, fine, I'm a drama channel, you know, like, call me what you want, I just don't care, you know? And it just kind of happened naturally for me. It wasn't like I went into it and said, like, I'm going to be a drama channel. And the drama community's changed a lot since those days back in the day. You know, it just has changed a lot. I mean, it is like night and day what it was when I first started. What are some of your favorite things to do in your free time? I love to just drive around in the country. I love to listen to audiobooks. I love to hang out with my best friend. I love to go out to dinner with my husband. I love to travel with my husband. I know that this is like, I don't know, I think people sometimes like they watch videos and they think like, oh this or oh that, and it's like, it's just really not that deep. Like, I'm just this dude in the Midwest, okay? Like, literally, I'm just this dude that lives in Indiana with my 3 dogs and my husband, and you know, we get through the day and then we sit here and we watch TV and we eat together, and then my husband goes to bed early and I vlog, and it's just not that deep, you know, like, I don't know. So I enjoy the small things. Those are the things I really like. I love to read. I mean, that's why I have a booktube channel. Okay. How do you find out all about the drama? Well, half the time you guys send it to me, and the other times, like, I'll just be reading through Twitter, or I kind of look and see. I read Reddit a lot, the Beauty Guru Chatter. I look in Reddit a lot to see what people are saying over there. You know, I don't know. Usually, like, with, like, the bigger stories, like, if it's Tana Mojo or something like that, or Shane Dawson doing a series, like, I mean, I watch those people, so I know, like, kind of what's going to happen, if that makes sense. And that's usually why that's how I find the drama. Back in the day, I watched a lot of, like, other drama channels, and then, like, if like, they did a video, like, I would do the video, too, and, if they did a video on, like, let's say, you know, X, Y, and Z, like, I would watch their video, and then I would go watch, like, the video they were talking about, and then I would do my own reaction to it. I don't really do that anymore because there's so many drama channels out there at this point. Let's see. Oh my God, these are, like, all these questions. When are we seeing you in drag? I don't know. I mean, I've never, you guys, this is so funny. I have no issues with it whatsoever, but I literally have never been in drag in my entire life. So yeah, I would be put in drag once, but if I'm gonna save it, like, this is the thing, right? Like, and I have, listen, drag is how I came into the gay community, because I literally was friends with all these drag queens that helped me get into gay bars. And I've already put that video out. You can go back and watch it. I think it's called, like, my first gay pageant, or my first drag pageant. My first national drag pageant was Entertainer of the Year in Louisville, Kentucky. Shayla Simpson won. It was 1993. And I've been obsessed with drag pageants and drag and everything since then. I religiously watch RuPaul's Drag Race, but there's RuPaul's Drag Race, and then there's, like, Small Town Queens and pageants, and I love that just as much. You know, and then there's this whole underground drag race that goes on YouTube, and I don't know that a lot of people know about that, but I've talked about it on here, and I've made videos about it. So yeah, I mean, I would totally be put in drag, but, like, at this point, I kind of want to save it, like, for a special moment. Like, if I became friends with Alyssa Edwards, boost! I would love Alyssa Edwards to put me up in drag. I would totally do that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. When are you meeting Elle Leary? Okay, so Elle Leary is another YouTuber, and she and I become friends. And she does, like, beauty reviews, and she sent me stuff. She's so sweet. We're both going to be in San Diego at Christmas time. So I think we're going to meet up and go shopping at Sephora and get a coffee or something. So I'm excited about meeting her. Okay. What's your go-to order at Taco Bell? Oh my God, you guys. I'm so embarrassed. I can't do this. Okay. My husband's worse than me, okay? But we literally spend like $30 at Taco Bell. My go-to order at Taco Bell is nachos Bel Grande, replace the beef with beans, okay? That's number one. And then I get a 7-layer burrito and a bean burrito. And then I get a large, like, Diet Pepsi. I don't know why Diet Pepsi, but I think their Diet Pepsi tastes better than their Pepsi. I'm not a big Pepsi fan anyway. And then sometimes I get those Cinnabon Delights. Oh my God, they are so good. Or, like, but I never end up eating everything that I get, so my husband gets a lot. He gets, like, the Crunchwrap Supreme and Mexican pizza and 2 tacos and all this kind of stuff, and he eats everything, so he loves it. I get a lot of questions on here about meet and greets. Okay, here's my thing, you guys. I would totally do a meet and greet, but, like, you know, like, the YouTube famous thing is a joke, right? Like, I don't think of myself that way. And so it's like, to some degree, like, and I suffer from a lot of social anxiety. And it's one thing for me to sit down on camera and be like this, but it's another thing for me to, like, go out in public and, like, put myself in that situation. And I've talked about that on my Peterisms channel, so that's really hard for me. I don't know. Yeah, I would do it at some point. Like, I just, who'd show up? I mean, are we going to do it at the Chinese buffet? I don't know. I should have a huge meetup at the Chinese buffet. I think that would be so much fun. How many times have you cracked yourself with those damn fans? You know, I don't know. All the time. I hit myself all the time. I'm clumsy as hell. I really am. Have you tried the sugar lip balm from Sephora? It's amazing. No, I have not. But I actually talked about you recommending that to me in my vlog last night. So you might want to go check that out. What are your top 5 favorite nonfiction books you have ever read or listened to? Oh my God, that is such a hard question. Top 5. Like, I don't know, but I could just tell some good ones I really like. I've been talking a lot about the girl, I think her name is Jaycee Dugard, the girl that was kidnapped. That book like profoundly changed me. Also, and I don't know why, because this is like a highly religious book, and I don't consider myself religious, but I consider myself highly spiritual. The book that was called She Said Yes, I read it like 20 years ago about the Columbine shooting, and it was about the girl that he asked her, like, do you believe in God? And she said yes. I don't know why that book, but it was like that book at that time. Blackout, Remembering the Things I Drank to Forget, or Remembering the Things I Drank to Forget. That book was probably one of the best alcoholic memoirs I've ever read. Dry by Augustine Burrow, that's 4. And the last one is Beautiful Boy, which I don't know, it's by, his last name's Chef. I have it right over there, and I actually talked at length about this last night because when I read it, it gave me a completely different perspective of how, like, I had treated my dad in active addiction. And after reading it, I talked to my dad about it, and I was like, oh, you should read this book. And he's like, oh, I already read it. There was a whole article about it, you know, in New York Times or something. And so we talked about it, and he was like, you know, like, I said, I just had no idea that, like I knew, like, I did a lot of damage. He goes, you did so much emotional damage at that time. He goes, but, and this was, like, I read it since I was on BookTube, so this is in the last 2 years. So this is probably 1.5 years ago. I don't know when I read it, but we had this conversation, and he said, you know, he goes, but that was who you were, and you're somebody different now, and I'm so proud of who you are. You're a good person. And, you know, like, and I talked about this last night in my vlog extensively, and a lot of people don't like when I say this, but this is just my feelings about things, okay? Is that, you know, there's this whole perception, I think, about addiction that we, like, sometimes deserve pats on the back, and that's kind of bullshit. Like, we just don't, you know? And, you know, we're not like, and I say this a lot, we're not like C's becoming A's, we're F's becoming C's. And realistically, to just not engage in drug and alcohol and be responsible in life, it's just the bare minimum of what we should be doing. So, you know, like, for me, like, that book even put it more in perspective. And I don't know, like, it took a long time for my dad and I to repair our relationship. I'm so proud of our relationship today. Does it have its struggles? Absolutely, like any relationship. But, you know, like, seeing that book and seeing where we were and now where we're at, it was like, okay, this is night and day, you know? So, yeah, that was a long answer, wasn't it? Advice on starting a YouTube channel. Just start it. Just sit down with your phone or whatever. You know, it's funny because I was watching, I can't think of what her name is now. But anyway, she's like this up-and-coming beauty influencer, and she like got 1 million subscribers in like 2 months. And I was watching this Q&A that she did the other day, and she said, like, I'm getting a camera so I don't have to film on my phone anymore. And I thought, she got 1 million subscribers off of filming on her phone. See, like, listen. Okay, would you ever let a beauty guru do your makeup? Absolutely. Do you like animation? I saw you reading Orange in a post, and it made me wonder if you watch. I'm not a big animation person, I'm not. So many people had recommended Orange to me, so I started reading it, and now I'm like halfway through and I just can't keep it. It's kind of boring to me. Will you ever give up YouTube within the next 5 years? I have no plan of giving up YouTube anytime soon. I love it too much. Okay, this is about to stop because I'm at 23 minutes, so I'm gonna stop it and then come right back. Okay. See, when you're a vlogger, you know those things. It depends on what camera. Some cameras are 17 minutes, some cameras are 19 minutes, and some cameras are 23 minutes. And so, since I have 3. Has a book ever changed your life? I actually talked about that in my vlog last night. Yeah, I've had a lot of books that have changed my life. I don't necessarily change my life, but change my perspective of life, if that makes sense. When will you do another haunted investigation video? Okay, so I have to just put this out there in the world. So, you know, I did the paranormal investigation thing, and I have gotten some very creepy and interesting messages as a response to that. I would love to do more paranormal investigations. My friend Melissa and my friend Aaron, they go to them all the time. They go to all of the, you know, the closed down hospitals and all those kinds of things that you can go do with the ghost hunter. They do all of that, okay? I don't know that, like, I want to invite that into my life. I just, you know, like, I did one, I think maybe that's enough. I just don't know that I need to invite that into my life, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure that I will do anymore. I mean, I would like to, but I don't know that I want everything that goes with it. If you had to pick only one channel to continue on YouTube, which one would it be? Every time I do a Q&A, I always get this question. It's like, it's so hard because each one represents something different to me. So I don't know, but if I had to keep one channel, like purely based on what I love, it would be my vlog. It's for me, it's cathartic at the end of the day. I love doing it. I love just sitting down and talking. It's typically the same people that watch my vlog on a regular basis. I don't know, it's very cathartic for me. It's like for me at the end of the day to just sit there. There are some times that honestly I'm like, God, I'm tired, I don't want to vlog tonight, but like as soon as I'm like done with it, I'm like, I feel so much better. So yeah, I think it would be the vlog. But I love all of my channels. I mean, for me, it's like when you have different friends and you have the friend that's always fun to go out with, and that's kind of my drama channel, you know? And then you have like the friend that like, you know, you can just talk to for hours and hours, and that's kind of like the vlog channel for me. And I don't know, the Peterisms channel is kind of like me talking to my sponsor, and then the BookTube channel is like me just like hanging out with my friends talking about books I love, you know? So it's different. Each channel is different. Are you single? I am not single. I am married. I've been married for over 7 years, and we've been together over 10 years. Who inspires you? So I talked a lot about this last night on my vlog. I talked about like who inspires me on YouTube, and I talked about Shane Dawson, and I talked about Colleen Ballinger, and you know, other people inspire me on YouTube as well. Glozell Green, I've always looked up to. Jenna Marbles, I adore. There's a lot of people that inspire me because I feel like they just continue to raise the bar for themselves creatively. But there's a lot of people that inspire me. You know, for me to sit on camera and tell you some of the people that inspire you, I don't know, because you don't know them. I mean, it's like, you know, a woman that I know from going to meetings, and she's lost all 3 of her kids, you know? And so, like, for me, like, the fact that she continues to put one foot in front of the other is inspiring to me. I have another friend of mine that lost 2 of her sons from overdose, and she's still sober, and she puts one foot in front of the other, and every weekend she goes and she speaks at treatment programs. That inspires me, how you continue to put one foot in front of the other, and those are the people that truly inspire me, you know, like, as far as strength in life and getting through things. Okay, what do you feel is your purpose in your life? I think my purpose in my life is to just continue to look at the things that happen to me and try to learn from them. And, you know, it's interesting because I've talked a lot about this on my Peterisms channel, that I feel like life is kind of like the school you never graduate from, but like as you like learn a lesson, you go to the next grade. You learn a lesson, you go to the next grade, those kinds of things. But also I think like the older you get, you learn a lesson differently than you maybe did 20 years ago or 10 years ago. I don't know. The things I learned today, I learn them in different ways than I did 10 years ago. And so yeah, so, okay, favorite pumpkin spice item. Oh my God, favorite pumpkin spice item so far? The Pop-Tarts. The pumpkin Pop-Tarts are fantastic. I'm really, really obsessed with them. But the pumpkin spice snickerdoodles are really, really good too. And you can get them at Walmart. I saw them at Walmart. They're not the same brand I have, but they are. Talk about an album that got you through something, made you who you are today. Oh, that's really good. You know, I don't know that it would be one album, but you know, I've had different periods of my life where I listened to different kinds of music. And when I was in high school, I was very focused on listening to like, you know, Psychedelic Furs and the Smiths and The Cure. And I've talked about this on here a million times. New Order, you know, Gene Loves Jezebel. I mean, all these bands, like the Pixies, the Sex Pistols, you know, Sonic Youth, all those like kind of like alternative punk bands I used to listen to in high school. And then as I got a little bit out of that, I started listening to more like grassroots music, tons of Grateful Dead, Neil Young, Bob Dylan. You know, I grew up on that stuff as well because my mother loved it. One of my mom's favorite bands of life was Led Zeppelin, so I listened to Led Zeppelin my whole life. And I think like that music, like Grateful Dead, Bob Dylan, Judy Collins, like real grassroots music has really helped me get through hard times in my life. The lyrics speak to me. And I don't think it matters really what kind of music you listen to. I'm really, really, really big into music as being like a therapeutic or cathartic way to get through things. Sometimes I just drive around my car in total silence. But often I put on music, and if I kind of need to get out of a down mood, I put down like dance music. And lately I've been listening to a lot of Amy Winehouse. I have absolutely no idea They made me go to rehab and I don't even remember the words. What are the words? They tried to make me go to rehab. I said, no, no, no. I loved Amy Winehouse. The whole story is very, very tragic to me. The documentary, I haven't watched it. I still want to see. So I kind of go through phases of what I'm listening to. I love electronic dance music. My husband loves electronic dance music. It's really, really like our connection. We always kind of go through phases. Like for a while, we loved Cascade. Right now, we love Rufus Du Sol. So, you know, there's always somebody out there that we connect on a music level. And I love having that connection with my husband. Okay, favorite Monty Python movie. Oh my God, I haven't watched those in years. I seriously haven't. I don't even know which one I would say. Okay, do you recommend any podcasts? Okay, this is so funny. So I talked about podcasts like at length last night on my vlog because, like I said, I'm gonna probably start a podcast. But on top of that, I was like talking about how I used to listen to Psychobabble with Tyler Oakley and Corey Cole and this other one. And I was like, oh, I don't, you know, my friends listen to like, you know, these other broadcasts and whatever, or podcasts. And I was like, but I don't really listen to them. I listen to my, okay, I don't know how I forgot this. I listen to my favorite, what's it called? My Favorite Murder. I listen to that all the time. All the time. So that's, and it all started because it's these two women and they are hilarious and they totally play off of each other. I started listening to it, really, like I started listening to it regularly because of the, when I read I'll Be Gone in the Dark about the Golden State Killer. So those podcasts are probably some of the best podcasts I've ever heard about that. Okay, what is your favorite quote? My favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes is from the movie The Contender. And the quote is, principles only mean something when you stick to them, if you stick to them when they're inconvenient. So yeah. If you've never seen the movie The Contender, it's fantastic. It's about this woman and, you know, I know people don't get me often. You know, they really don't. And that's okay. And I think a lot of people are like, oh no, I get you, I get you. You know what I mean? But like, you know, it's like movies like that inspire me. If you've never seen the movie, it's fantastic. And it's about this woman and she got nominated to be a Supreme Court justice. And so this whole thing pops up about this picture, okay, this alleged picture, and that she's in this like orgy when she was in college. She refuses to speak on the picture. She refuses to, through the whole movie, she refuses to speak on it. Well, at the very end, it comes out, okay, that the picture was doctored, that there was no truth to the picture whatsoever, and the whole movie is literally about this picture. And she's sitting on the grounds with the president, and I can't remember who plays the president, but anyway, she's sitting there, and they're talking because she gets approved, and they're sitting there, and they're talking, and he said, you knew the whole time that the picture was doctored. Like, why didn't you say anything? And she says, because it was never theirs to ask in the first place. She's like, it really was never any of their business. And then she said, principles only mean something if you stick to them when they're inconvenient. And, you know, it's movies like that that really inspire me when I see through actions, you know, and I'm not always the best person, but I'm constantly learning, you know, from situations. So, yeah, like that's where I take, you know, listen, I got a lot of favorite quotes, okay? It's All the Same Fucking Day, man, by Janis Joplin. I love that one. I love her quote, you know, I make love to 35,000 people and I go home all alone. I love a lot of Janis Joplin quotes. She's another tragic, you know, person that makes me very, very sad. Maya Angelou, I love her quotes. I absolutely love Maya Angelou's quotes. One of my favorite quotes about that Maya Angelou has ever said was when she was sitting with Oprah Winfrey and Oprah was talking about, well, this person's talking about me and this person's talking about me and they're all saying all this stuff about me. And Maya Angelou just looks at her. They're like sitting in bed and she just looks at her and she goes, but see, you're not in that. She's like, that's about them. You're not in that. And, you know, like, I love that quote. I absolutely love that. Like, you're not in that. Like, that has nothing to do with you whatsoever. So those are some of my favorite quotes. Okay. Favorite thing about living in Indy from a fellow Hoosier. Okay, the favorite thing I like about Indy is that, first of all, it's small town. It's typically very, very safe. It's affordable to live here. It's becoming more artsy in certain areas. But, you know, you can be 5 minutes from, like, total suburbia to another 10 minutes to being out in the country to 10 minutes later, you're, like, right downtown Indianapolis. And so it's really easy to get from place to place and be where you want to be. This video so far is 35 minutes. Oh, my God. Your most valuable lesson in life. My most valuable lesson in life, I actually saw this question, so I kind of thought about it. You know, I think I learned my most valuable lesson in life, not when my mom passed away, but the last time that she was put into the hospital. And it was just like some random Tuesday. It was a Tuesday. And I got this call from my dad, and my dad said, because my dad, even though my parents were divorced, was involved in all of that and helping my mom get into the hospital and stuff. And my dad called me and he said, your aunt went over to your mom's house. She fell in the shower. She's unconscious, but we're getting her to the hospital. You need to meet me there. And, you know, in that moment, like, and I have no clue what I was doing 5 minutes before that, and all I can remember is being at the hospital and what happened after that, and my mom came out of it, and she was fine, and she got admitted to the hospital. But what I know is, from that there will be moments in your life, okay, when real shit happens, like that. Or like standing over my mother, and, after she had passed away. You know, or minutes before when, you know, when, I knew we were down to the wire, and, or the phone call I got from my cousin that said that, you know, my aunt had just passed away and she wanted me to come over there immediately, you know, or breakups that I've gone through, or just horrific things in my life, right? You're gonna have probably in your life, or I will probably have in my life, 10 to 20 really serious shit things that happen, right? Really serious things that happen. Maybe 10 or 20. The rest of it just ain't that deep. It just isn't, you know? I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna get through this. It's just not that deep. And that's why I say that. And, you know, I was like, I said something about that in a video that I did the other day talking about a palette. And somebody made a comment, and I thought it was a fair comment. And they said, you know, by you saying it's not that deep, what you're saying is that, like, you're kind of like putting down our feelings towards this. And I understand that that's how it came across. That's not how I meant it. What I meant was that in life, okay, sometimes even myself blow things up into something that they're not in relation to really huge shit that's going to happen in our lives. The rest of it, it's just not that deep. It really isn't. And when you start seeing life that way, it's kind of a little bit easier to move forward and move on. It really, really is. And I don't always practice that perfectly. I have to remind myself of that, you know, regularly and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, once I finally can sit back and see the perspective of, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's that. So that's probably the greatest lesson I've learned in my life. It always puts things in perspective for me. You know, often I'll ask myself, like, okay, like if 10 is the worst and 1 is like not at all, like, okay, how much is this affecting me right now? Is this a 10 or is this a 1? And if I'm seeing things at a 10, I probably need to reevaluate my life unless somebody that I love has just passed away. And that's just the reality. So many people on here ask me, like, how much is James Charles worth? How much is Shane Dawson worth? How much? I have no clue how much these people are worth. My God, I don't ask people questions like that. Do you have siblings? No, I'm an only child. Penniless or loveless? Penniless. I've been without love before. You know, I am somebody that always has been in relationships. So I love to be in love. Don't you love to be in love? I don't know. And I've been pretty down in the dumps financially before too, and, you know, eating ramen noodles and things like that, and not really knowing where I was going to go the next day to the next. And I'm still here, but yeah, so I don't know. You can get through either, I guess, or I've gotten through both. Favorite YouTube series. Okay, this is so funny because, like, I'm so embarrassed to say this. No, I'm not. But my favorite YouTube series, well, I love the most popular girls in high school. I've watched it since the very beginning. But where I immediately went in my head was The Avenue. Do you guys remember Gigi Gorgeous back in the day? She had a show and it was called The Avenue, and it was like a reality show. I literally watched every episode. I was so pissed when it ended. I really loved that series. I don't know why. What is your skincare routine? So people got so mad at me because I I was washing my face with soap and water because I had done it my entire life. My mom told me that. I've just been real blessed, you guys. Like, I don't have acne. I don't really have a whole lot of skin problems. I never have. But I recently started using the men's, like, I don't know, it's some face wash from Kiehl's that they recommended to me. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Lake from Kiehl's. They recommended it to me, and I started using it. I wash my face in the shower, and that's about it. And I put Aveeno lotion, lavender, on my face every day. Sometimes I use the Benefit lotion. I really like that. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. But other than that, I don't do anything else Okay, let's pick a couple more questions and let's stop, because this is like 40 minutes long. When is your album getting released? Hopefully before the end of 2018, and that is a real thing. Why didn't you or Alex take one's last name? You know, we kind of thought about it at first. Neither one of us really wanted to give up our first name. So give up our first name. Alex. Neither one of us really wanted to give up our last name. So we talked about hyphenating. But like, I've never really been a lover of hyphenations. So, and it's too long. It just becomes, so we haven't at this point. We may at some point. It hasn't been like a really that big of a deal to us. If you had 1 year left to live, what would you do for you? If I had 1 year left to live, money being like no question, I would go around the world and travel to all the places I wanted to see. You know, I would take a trip with Tanya. I would take a trip with Alex. You know, I would do some things I really wanted to do. And they probably wouldn't be the trips that, I don't know, people would guess. Like, I've never been to Washington, D.C. I've always wanted to go to Washington, D.C. and see all of that. Back in the day, I loved the movie Born Yesterday, the original. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called, about the woman that kind of like, she goes and reads all this stuff. I loved that movie. So I've always wanted to see Washington, D.C. And I think there are other places I really want to go in my life, just in the United States. I haven't been around the United States a lot, but in the world. And then I think the rest of the time I just would read some books I've never read, you know, spend a lot of time with my loved ones, and that would be it. I've had a lot of friends of mine that have, they have passed away. They have family members that have passed away in really tragic ways. And some very close friends of mine, my closest friend included, has lost loved ones in very tragic ways. I feel very blessed, you know. My mom passed away in a hospital bed, surrounded by loved ones. My aunt passed away at home, her first day in hospice. My uncle passed away just recently, you know, at home in bed. And if I could pick, that's how I would pick to go. I have been very blessed in my life. I have wonderful people in my life. I've had wonderful experiences. I'm not ready to go anywhere yet. I hope I live another 40 or 50 years. I really do. But I feel so blessed. I've had a very blessed life, and I'm very thankful for it. And one of the things I'm very thankful for that's on my gratitude list, well, when I do it, because I used to do it every night, and I'm not doing it as much anymore, but when I do, is the ability to get on here and make videos and that people want to watch them. So thank you so much for watching my videos. I love you. I hope you enjoyed this super lengthy, almost kind of like a vlog Q&A, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Bye.